and welcome back to the House of Animation. The front door is always open, so do come on in and join us as we each week talk about every animation film of every kind. I am your host, Ben Gilman. As always, I'm joined by Tara Chloe.
Hello.
And Troy Salmon.
Hello, I'm here.
And today we're here to talk about the fantastic movie Wolf Children, which is a 2012 anime film. Hold on a second, let me just get stuff. I am so unprepared. It's written and directed by Mamoru Hosoda. It's the second original feature film directed by Hosoda. Obviously, the first one is The Girl Who Leapt Through Time. And Summer Wars, but we'll get to them. They're on the list, you know. This is true. Basically, it's the story central theme is parent and child. It's depicting 13 years in the life of a young woman, Hannah, who falls in love with a werewolf. And yes, you can imagine interspecies sex, lovely, while in college, and following his death. Because he's a dog, he doesn't live long, and must raise the resulting half-wolf, half-human siblings, Ame and Yuki, who grow and find their own paths in life.
Oh my gosh, this movie, man. It's so good.
So, this movie... oh god, there's a wasp in here. Hold on!
What?
Oh my gosh!
This is why I hate insects, you know?
Get out the window,
What?
get out.
There, I thought it's not common in the UK though.
Yeah, wasp, yeah.
Okay,
Common over here.
where's the wasp?
It's gone.
Are you
The
sure?
massive ones.
It went out the window and I shut the window. We're okay. Let's keep going. Wow, we're keeping that in. That's going to be an all-time podcast moment. That is right. Let's keep going.
That is a good one.
Okay.
I am not re-recording that again.
No, keep that in.
Okay.
Sorry about that. A wasp came in halfway through the recording. That will be a moment that I'm sure the people that listen to this podcast that are friends of us will be taking the piss out of for ages. Dear Lordy. Right. So, this movie, it basically shows how annoying children can be.
Yeah, basically.
Like ignoring furniture. I love the bits where they just go between wolf and child. Like, I mean, kids are balls of clay. Because when you're an adult, you don't really change much. It takes a lot of change. But when you're a kid, you're easily, you can change your personality and what you learn. And your personality comes through your parents. So being a child, human, and a wolf together. I mean, what is your identity?
Yeah, it's a whole mishmash.
In the end, they actually chose what they want to be. The boy chose to be a wolf, and the girl chose to be a human.
But do you notice how they were Ozabits? Do you realise that they were Ozabits? I'm ignoring your naked man picture because I'm trying to get serious today.
Yes. Yeah, I mean,
I mean, if there was a remake, he could be the hot wolf man and be like, "Hey, look at my pecs! Look at them! They can shoot nipples off." See?
Yes. Look at my.
Yeah.
I thought when
my
I watched the show.
Oh, Ben, what have you done? Open it up now, Ben.
I thought of fucking Jacob from Twilight.
Pandora's box.
If there was a Japanese live action Asian remake of this, who would be the sexy Asian man with that you would cast this? We're gonna get it done, Trey. She's derailed us already. Just let her get it out. Come on. Get your woman cock out on the table.
Okay, most likely there will be a Japanese adaptation of a movie and maybe a Korean adaptation as well. And if the Korean adaptation happens, right, I support Won-ho from Monster X to make his acting debut in the show as the wolfman with the big titties.
Oh my god. Okay.
Sexy Asian wolfman. Yeah.
Was that the man that was on the phone a minute ago?
Yes.
Why can we never do podcasts that just go down a route?
No. Ben, hey guys, Ben tried so hard. He tried so hard to
man titties, yo. Big ass giant man titties.
I tell you what, there's a difference between Tara on this and Syndrome. When she's too tired on Syndrome, when she does a pic, she's a bit off of it. But when we do these House of Animations, it's morning and she's rested and she's just unpredictable.
It's not morning, it's 6 p.m. It's 5 p.m. for me here.
Just wait until she lives in the UK for the live recordings of Syndrome. It's going to be something.
Right, I'm not sure when I'll go to the UK. I'll be remote working, but there are 4 places I have on my list. That is Japan, South Korea, the UK, and Germany.
Great. So can we get back to the movie? Great.
Yeah.
Wolf children, let's go.
So obviously there's bestiality, but we talked about this in Beauty and the Beast not so long ago. But it's
Jacob from Twilight. Jacob from Twilight.
No, talk about Twilight Woman. Shut up.
Oh, what the heck?
Like, derailing this podcast. I'm this close to making this 1 5-minute outtake.
Ben,
Drake
I'm going. This is a new face for Ben right now. Take control of your city, Ben.
I'm taking control of my gate. I'm the gatekeeper.
Asian Jacob.
Chloe is not coming through the goddamn gates of this podcast.
No, that's why. That's why I thought.
Can't you just leave your
time,
Asian titty man? Can you just not leave your Asian titty man outside for one recording? Just one recording, woman.
Okay.
Tara, right, I'm just going to ask you something about the film. This is ridiculous. If you've just listened to this after the last podcast, you know that the last syndrome, we're even about TV for 45 minutes. So now you're going to this.
No.
Yeah, Lord. Right, you're going to be quiet for 5 minutes. Me and Troy are going to talk about the film. Unless you've got something about the film.
Okay.
Never put my foot down on Tara Chloe before, but I am now. So, I will ask Tara, so do you think this is normal romantic role between Beast and Woman? Because, Beast locked her up and got jiggy with it because he locked her up because he's a masochist.
Yeah,
do you feel like it's a bit more natural here, the love story? Because it's not so hackneyed. It feels like it could happen in real life. I mean, Hosoda has got a great run. He's like with Shinkai in terms of my favorite anime movies have come from him. Like he's got a consistent run. I mean, when we get into it, unlike Shinkai's got a style that's very boring to me now. Which is
the style very it just blurs into everything else that he's doing. It's just
loads of shots of trains and stuff. And Hosoda is unpredictable. I watched Mirai recently. We'll do that one day. I've watched Beast and the Boy. I've watched all of his movies at some point, and he doesn't have a bad movie in the canon. I still think Summer Wars is his best movie.
Yeah,
but like the Go Let Through Time, Summer Wars, and this is like a good opening three-way salvo. I'm not going to talk about the Digimon movie because that's a franchise movie. I'm talking about his own stuff. So Wolf Children. I mean, child care as a man, I guess. I'm not a father, but like I can see, I've been a single mum with kids. Must be difficult because the dad dies.
That was man, that shows single mothers and all that stuff as well. Motherhood and how tough it is, especially with 2 kids being wolves. That puts extra pressure on them even more now. I can't control any of them. Stuff getting destroyed, people running in forests. Like, what the heck? That's what I'm saying. That's the fear of like an adult right there, like an actual parent right there. Parents, like the fear of the kids running off and something bad happening to them. Just like happened to the dad. So yeah, that's a massive fear right there. There's a lot of parenthood trials and tribulations going on right here.
She moves away from the city because social workers and neighbours are all sticking their noses in. She goes and she repairs this really shitty looking house, but has a really hard time growing her own crops too. Obviously the older man Miyazaki helps her out and can start to trust him. He shows her how to do the crops and everything.
Yeah.
Yuki and Ame, they kind of swap their personalities when they're kids to when they're adults. They completely swap over.
Yeah, it's just straight over.
Yeah,
that's something quite interesting. What do you think, Tara?
I think this show, to be honest, I may have seen something like it on TikTok before, those movie reviews, and that's when you told me to watch it. So I think it's pretty interesting. Like, there's a wolf and there's a girl, and literally she fell in love with the werewolf. Yeah, this could be the Asian version of Teen Wolf or Twilight. That's the first thing that actually came to my mind,
seriously.
And the guy also, he looks like the typical Japanese handsome boy, but, he's a wolf.
Yeah.
Ow! Like the EXO song, Wolf. Couldn't wolf, nigga wolf. Ow! Okay, that's a really old song, by the way. So, yeah, and then they start having a relationship, they have sex, and then they have kids. But I don't know how the father dies. Like, he's just found in the ditch, dead somewhere.
There's an accident. He's hunting for food.
Yeah, I'm not sure if a car, knocked him down or what, right? But you know, when she tried to go after his body, right? The people collecting it, she could have just said like, "Oh, that's my pet dog. It's a husky, a Siberian husky." The Game of Thrones dog.
Actually really true.
Yeah, give it back to me. I want to do it.
Yeah, that's what same thing I thought as well. Same thing I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought,
I
right?
don't love him anyway.
Yeah, because in Singapore there's a term called wayang, which means little white lies. Because I'm in the sales line, right? I know how to talk a lot of little white lies and bullshit. So I would go there. If I were her, I'll like go there like, "Hey yo, that's my pet husky, yo. It's a Malamute. It's rare. It's I'm a Game of Thrones fan, yo. How dare that's the husky's corpse? Let me bury my pet." It'll be like that. But actually, it's
You
not.
don't want to bury your pet in Pet Cemetery because that thing would come back.
Oh, that's a great
There's
idea.
a great
What if
horror.
she
There's a
actually
great
has
sequel.
What if she actually
Cemetery
yeah.
where you bury him and then he comes back as a haunted wolf and hunts the kids. It would be a great horror movie.
Oh,
Thriller,
yeah.
For Soda, you can have that one on me. That'd be a great sequel.
There we
Thriller,
go.
like Michael
She gets
Jackson
the body
Thriller.
back and
Yeah,
goes and
Michael
haunts the
Jackson.
kids.
Yeah, that's why. So I'm like, okay. And yeah, so and then he dies, which is pretty tragic. Like, you know, I don't know how it's so cool that she's left to raise, but the
Do you reckon
bloody
he hulked out when he came? He hulked out into a wolf, and so she was technically shagging the dog, the werewolf.
Yeah, she was even in the wolf
Just-
form.
I used to have a pet dog,
Kind of
and you know, I used to have a pet dog, and you know, once a male dog actually came and tried to doggy hump it. So I think wolves or dog species love having sex in the doggy position. So I don't even want to think about how they had sex because this is supposed to be a children's film. So let's not think about how the parents intermated. This is like watching a bloody episode of Asian Teen Wolf.
Well, then you do the Pet Cemetery thing, and then it's a whole different movie, I think. But
Yeah, there's
but I think-
Twilight, Teen Wolf, Pet Cemetery,
I bet
Game
you-
of Thrones.
I bet you nothing about Game of Thrones, but this is why the neighbours most people thought she was humping the family dog, and they're like, "Well, she's definitely into some shit. We better call social services." Like, it's like,
Yeah, that's why. Just yeah, just
dog.
so technically he is a descendant of House Stark, right? Because he's a wolf.
Oh God, you're the only one bringing up Game of Thrones in this shit.
Game
No,
of
it's a,
Thrones.
Speaking of
even
wolf,
Game of
I
Thrones
think
didn't
of
have animal
House
sex.
Stark
Yeah, they
and
have that.
Twilight, Teen Wolf, Thriller.
Stop bringing up shitty shows from America. Anyway, so one of Hosoda's motivations for the film was he wanted, you know, people go, "Oh, kids are so cute and all this and everything," but what he wanted to show is how parents are amazing to adapt to kids. Like they level up. You have to level up as a parent because it's a whole new set of responsibility.
Yes.
And how parents learn. He said there's never enough focus on the parent about how they adapt and learn alongside the child. It's always about the kid. It's what I wanted to show is mothers and fathers, well, mothers in this case, it's even single mothers, especially single mothers, are amazing because they are the whole family for those kids, and they're bringing them up.
Yeah, that's
My
my
mum was
mum and
the
dad. Yeah,
Yeah, my mum did that for me. Like, amazing. Like, it's hard work to bring up to even a kid on its own, and let alone 3 or 2.
Yeah, that's the thing. Headish for just even thinking about it. Like, whoa, we thinking about that. It's like, damn. It's just the thought of that. I think of thus, I say they put the added extra pressure in there because you can get like some bad kids sometimes, man. And it's like you growing them up is just chaos. And somehow trying to rein them in is just it's just almost damn near impossible. If you can do it, then that's a sign of like a great parent right there. That's you've got a great parent who's take care of kids like that. It's just insane. Trust me, it's nuts. It's flipping nuts.
And it's beautiful as well. I mean, this film was about 10 years ago, and it seemed like a couple of years
Still
ago.
looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it still looks good.
It got close to an Oscar as well. Like, it got nominated, but didn't make the final listing. But it got close. Like, you know, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I understand why, especially the subject matter of it as well. I understand why it got up there in terms of like the world the critics reviews and that. I get it. It's solid. Animation's solid. It's fluid. Even though it's more old school, like the way it's animated. But I like that kind of style anyway. I don't mind that style.
Somebody just said that the Miyazaki influence on Hosoda's work, it seems obvious. I don't think so. I'm sorry, but Miyazaki's very boring. I mean, I'm not being rude, but it's always a young girl. Hosoda's thing is so different. I mean, Ghibli's great, but I know it's a young girl. She's something magical of it. I can kind of see where you're going immediately. It's very predictable. I mean, I think Ghibli are great, but they do have a tendency to have it always look like England in the countryside and have a young girl be the main character. They're very. I've been watching a lot of Ghibli since they come on Netflix, and sometimes it's very hard to tell the difference between one movie and the next.
Yeah, it's like an old English setting in the
Like-
in the meadows. You know what I'm saying? The Ghibli style, but yeah, it's very noticeable.
Miyazaki's quite predictable. Like,
Yeah. After a while, yeah, it does get. If you've seen a couple of his movies, like literally 2 movies of his, then you know you're like, yeah, that's his style. That's exactly what he's used to doing.
I mean, we're going to go on a run now of people. Like the next movie we're going to talk about is also like they killed the couple off very early. One of the members of the couple gets murdered. It's unfortunate that they seem to come together in pairs when we review these films.
It's crazy because the dad in this one, and yeah.
I think you could have done this movie with the dad, but I think his job was to focus on the single mum and how powerful they are for bringing up kids on their own. I think you needed to off the dad. I would have liked to have the dad in it more. Like you could have had this movie with the dad, and it would have been powerful still. I think that's good writing. I don't think you needed to off the dad.
I thought they were going to keep him around. But yeah, because it would have been still a good story regardless.
Because it would have been interesting to see how.
Yeah, both parents. Yeah, you got the wolf element, you got the human element. Yeah,
you could have had the parents kind of discuss. Well, this is one thing that they could have kept in if the dad was alive. You could have had the discussion of should it be more wolf or more child?
Exactly. Yeah,
that's a great idea. After he's come back from the dead, as a Pet Sematary wolf, and he's trying to eat the children as well. You could have had all that in the same sequel. What that is like, redo sequel number 2, and you can have that discussion.
Magic, something happens like with the wind somehow resurrects the. I don't know how you're gonna work.
And the girl who left through time just time travels them all back, and it's like the Hosoda universe, cinematic universe.
It never happened. Wiped away.
And then Summer Wars is in the background. And you're like, what are we doing here? Why is Summer Wars in the background?
Walking through some kind of portal. Then just comes back. Oh, jeez.
So have you guys got anything else you want to say about this movie? Because I think we covered it.
Yeah, in terms of like the whole thing, yeah. In terms of subject matter,
score's amazing.
Covered it. Score. It's very subtle. I give the score that as well. It's not anything like spectacular. It's just subtle. It's very. It makes you the story. It's very story driven. It's not really about the music or anything like that. It's just about the story.
It doesn't need to tell you.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to tell you how to feel. And there are a lot of films that do that. Like romantic comedies do that. I don't need to be told. Like, I need to know that the soundtrack is there, but not be aware of it.
Yeah, it doesn't overpower anything.
Just the soundtrack. Do you understand what I mean? Like the one where it's like, Doctor Who did this a lot with Murray Gold. He couldn't stop sticking the soundtrack in all the time. It's like, oh my God, shut up.
Bruh, every 5 minutes. Oh my God.
Cheeky music for like Bloody Donna. It's like, it's like, no, stop the sound, jokey sound. I
hated that stuff with the Doctor Who stuff. Oh man, you brought it back. Oh,
anyway, so we're not going to talk about it. So what we are going to talk about is scores now. How many sniffing bottoms out of 10 would you give this show? It's 9.5 hours out of 10 for me.
You're 9.5, yeah?
Yeah, 9.5. Almost perfect.
A 9 maybe?
A what?
A 9?
I thought you said 5. I'm like, you need to get up.
I didn't say 5. I said 9.
You beast man, pity man that tried to the Wasp and you tried to disrupt this podcast. Like, it was just... Dear Lord, I'm surprised we managed to get 10 minutes of conversation out about this film.
Oh, I'm writing down Tara's.
Always comes back to sex. God help us. I don't think we can do that next week with Up. Finally, a movie that we can't make sexual allegations about.
Oh, yeah, we can't do that. Yeah, that's for sure.
Or if the main character does look like Rolf Harrison, maybe we could make some paedophile jokes. No, that's not.
Oh, jeez, don't do it. Oh, okay, so Tara's 9 out of 10. Ben, what was your score again?
9.5, sir.
9.5 out of 10.
9.5. Ding, ding.
Oh, I'm gonna give it. I'll give it an 8.5. 8.5 out of 10. It was a good movie, but it wasn't like spectacular for that. But 8.5 out of 10 for me.
Okay, so that's it. So yeah, so you got to go now. You got to get out the front door, or a dog will just mount you from behind and march you out the door.
Oh my god,
You've been warned.
On the door.
Right up the ass. So it's goodbye for me.
Bye from me.
Goodbye from me.
I don't want to make any more sexual jokes next episode. We keep doing it.